Welcome again to Essay Writing Explained. In this episode, we're going to explore evidence. Remember that an argument has three components: a logical claim, evidence to support it, and reasoning that links the two together. In this installment, we're going to talk about evidence. If you ask any cop, attorney, or English teacher, they will tell you that not all evidence is created equal. When choosing quotes to support your claim, remember, choose only the best. You want to make sure that you are selecting the strongest evidence possible to support your claim. Remember, a supported claim is a strong claim. Let's take another look at our claim. Remember, it's better to back up your claim with a few well-selected, strong pieces of evidence than it is to clutter up your argument with a bunch of mediocre quotes. Here we have 4 potential pieces of evidence that we could use to back up our claim. Push pause, read through all 4, and then resume. Now that you've read through these 4 pieces of evidence, we are going to look at each one and examine them to find out what are the 2 strongest pieces of evidence that we could use to support our claim. The heart of our argument is that John Knowles places the characters in sort of traditional, cold, almost unfeeling environments in moments where they're about to have a lot of emotions. And so let's take a look at this quote to see if that would back up our claim. First, we have to see, does this take place right before a highly emotional scene? Yes, it does. This is where Gene is about to confront Leper while he's on his absence. So Knowles writes, "He turned away and I followed him into an underfurnished dining room of high-backed chairs, rugless floor, and a cold fireplace." Well, he's definitely not painting a picture of warmth. This is certainly more austere. I'm thinking about, in particular, the visual associated with these high-backed chairs. It would look something like this. So, Jensen, what do you think about this chair?
That doesn't look comfortable.
I agree. It's not a place that's warm and inviting. So I
agree too.
So I think this quote would definitely work as a good piece of supporting evidence. Let's take a look at the next quote. Our second quote also describes setting, and it also describes setting right before a highly emotional scene, the courtroom scene. It says, "Above us in Latin flowed the inscription, 'Here boys come to be made men.'" Now, although it describes setting and it does describe something right before an emotional scene, I think we can find stronger evidence than this. Let's keep looking. This quote is describing the actual scene in the assembly room where Brinker Hadley accuses Gene of trying to hurt Finney. So clearly going to be a very highly emotional scene. As we read through this quote, I'm particularly drawn to this idea of the platform with a balustrade in front of it, and row after row of black early American benches. This evokes the scene of sort of an old-fashioned courtroom, something like this. Here in the back we have an example of row after row of early American benches, something like you might see in an old church, and then up front on this raised platform, the balustrade, which is this thing right here. So what do you think, Jensen? Does this look like a place that you'd want to relax for a while?
I wouldn't want to hang out there. If I would go there, I would only want to hang out there for like a second, and I'll leave.
Yeah.
I would not want to go there at all in my whole entire life.
Agreed. So again, I think this is a pretty good piece of evidence. I would use this one. This quote, which is also about setting, is really just sort of focusing on the features of the acoustics of the assembly hall. Really doesn't do much to support our claim. I think, in fact, of the 4 quotes, this is probably the weakest piece, so we would not use this one. There's one more important thing to consider when gathering evidence to support your claim, and that is make sure that you have read and correctly understood the evidence. Otherwise, you could be including a quote that actually contradicts your claim. In our next segment, we will be talking about reasoning, how to link your claim and your evidence so that you have a complete argument. Stay tuned.
Bye. See you later. Hope you have a good day.
Thank you, Jensen.